Hey there, kids! Today our story will be about a little fish with a big dream. Hope you have your goggles and snorkels on because we're taking this one underwater. The Journey of the Noble Gnarble. Written by Daniel Arico and illustrated by Christian Colabelli. Far below the ocean waves, a Gnarble lay in bed, and all night long his Gnarble dreams kept swimming in his head. He dreamt a dream of swimming up to see the sky above, lit up by the sun in colors he just knew he'd love. But Gnarbles never swam that high. Their fins were much too small. Their tails were thin and floppy, which didn't help at all. Do you think the Gnarble will still want to make his dream come true? This Gnarble liked his fins and had no problem with his tail, so when he woke, he knew that he just wouldn't fail.
I'm swimming up above the waves to see the sky of blue. I've never seen it even once, and now it's time I do.
But the other Gnarbles warned him that he shouldn't swim so high, as did the Blyfish family that always swam close by.
No Gnarbles ever swam that high. It simply isn't done. A Blyfish might just make the trip, but we know you're not one. Gnarbles don't have flappers like all us Blyfish do. You don't even have coggers like the swimming Gungaloo.
But the Gnarble didn't listen, and he left his friends behind. No silly Blyfish family could ever change his mind. He swam up past the boulders, made of spongy, gishy gosh, and flew right by the herd, a floating, feeding ficklefosh. His fins were getting tired, but he knew he couldn't stop. So he kept swimming faster, trying hard to reach the top. Just then a hungry Warkle blocked the Gnarble with his fin. He grabbed him by his tail and brought him right up to his chin.
I've never had a Gnarble. This would be a tasty treat, but you're much too thin and tiny for big old me to eat.
So the Gnarble just kept swimming and didn't dare to stop until he heard the sound of a great big bubble pop. He turned around to see that he was in a bit of trouble. The sound he heard was that of a silver subble-lubble. The Gnarble tried to hide somewhere that he could safely stay, but the subble-lubble saw him and was headed right his way.
Oh, Mr. Subble-Lubble, please don't eat me up for lunch. I'll bring the yummy plant instead for you to sit and munch.
I've never seen a Gnarble try to swim this high before. What is it, little fishy, that you're up here looking for?
If I could see the sky just once, I'd be a happy fish. To do one flip above the waves would be my only wish.
Well, sorry, silly Gnarble, but I cannot let you go. It's Subble-Lubble dinner time. You should have stayed below.
The Gnarble cowered back in fear and shook from fin to fin. But then he saw a school of fish called Shiny Glimmy Glin. The Glimmy Glin swam right past the Subble-Lubble's face, and the Gnarble grabbed a glimmy fin and quickly left that place. The Gnarble swam up higher still until he saw some light. He knew it had to be the sun, and oh, was it a sight! Closely by, a plink was sleeping, lying on his back. He rubbed his giant belly as he dreamed about a snack. The Gnarble smiled happily and set his fins a-swimming, but he didn't see the plink wake up, for he was busy grinning. Will the Gnarble be able to escape the plink? The Gnarble almost made it to the surface of the sea, but the plink chomped down and swallowed him as if he were a pea. The Gnarble sat inside the plink and started softly crying. He'd never make it out, so was there any point in trying? But the Gnarble knew he'd come too close to quit and give up now.
There must be some way out of out here. There's got to be somehow.
So the Gnarble swam around inside, trying very hard to think. And while he did, his floppy tail was tickling the plink. The plink was very ticklish, and he couldn't hold it in. He tried to cover up his laugh with his giant plinkish fin. What do you think will happen next? But his mouth was open long enough for the Gnarble to swim free. He swam so fast the hungry plink did not have time to see. Far above the ocean floor, above the Gnarble's homes, above the Blyfish families and dancing water gnomes, above the swimming Gungaloo and slimy Dundledun, a Gnarble flipped above the waves and smiled at the sun.
Remember that even if there are Blyfish, Sarbalabbles, and Plinks trying to stop you from reaching your goal, don't let that stop you. You can do anything if you keep your mind to it. Never give up on your dreams.